What have you made yourself? Perhaps the first thing that comes to mind when I say that is a new recipe you tried, or the last time you watched one of those how to do it yourself videos about any particular topic. However, those things aren't exactly yourself. In fact, they specifically are making you do something outside of yourself, something different, something new. And new goes away quick. I would know. I've started a lot of creative projects and they fall off really quickly when that new goes away. So, how do we make something ourselves without it also being new? Well, let me show you, and I'll use myself as an example. The best way to start making ourselves is to go through all of the states that we've been in. Like how a cake starts out as raw materials, becomes batter, and then ends up being a cake. So, let's start by making ourselves nostalgic. Yeah, that's right. It's time to get out one of those candles with a scent so specific only you know where it came from. Mine would be the smell of wet astroturf from the track and field of my elementary school. And the candle would flicker from the strong winds common in the Kansas flat fields. I definitely grew up in basically the Windows XP default background, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised seeing someone get whisked away like Dorothy. However you create things, whether it be writing, painting, or just talking, nostalgia is good raw materials for putting yourself in there. After letting that aroma settle in, we can move on to the next step, which is by making ourselves fascinated. Let's recall the things that get us in the zone, or the things that take up a lot of our screen time. For me, that would be fantasy. I'm captivated by those mystical worlds of magical creatures with dastardly plots. I'm definitely among one of the many dragons slumbering away in my cave, dreaming of giant castles to soar over. I'm sure you and I can agree that our fascinations can be both a comfortable blessing and a productive curse. As you might have noticed, what this is doing is causing us to move through all the different things that make up ourselves. And it's important to keep that movement from slowing down and lingering as we go on to this next step. Let's make ourselves frustrated. Time to put a bunch of R's after everything we say and scratch our aching heads. For me, it's that situation when we're having a lot of difficulty with something and everyone else just magically has it already mastered. A quick word of advice, saying, "It's easy, just do this," doesn't help. But nonetheless, it happens to everyone. And now let's try to be a little vulnerable and make ourselves scared. Fear is found in many places, and for me, the worst place is within others. Those silent red eyes of people watching me in the dark when I can't see myself forward, or the cries of help from people I care about as I'm locked behind a door. Very unsettling. But now it's time for the final step. It's time to make ourselves supported. This is my favorite part because now we get to go back to all the things that we thought about that made ourselves and see how they were supported by others. I have my parents to thank for those nostalgic moments back in Kansas, in which they instilled a good sense of peace within me. And I can thank my brother and the internet for my obsession with fantasy, in which both of them are always constantly updating me on more rabbit holes to dive into. And when I was frustrated and I was scared, my friends and families in their own way helped me through it, because they supported me. And it's very important to remember that we don't just have ourselves to thank for making us, but those who supported us too. And there you go. That's how I made myself and how you can make yourself too. You can put yourself into anything you do, and you can experiment by thinking about other aspects of yourself that I didn't mention. Just remember that it's okay to mess up, and realize that at times you've made yourself into someone you didn't exactly want. It isn't about being perfect. It's about making yourself better.